Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. I love entrepreneurs and human-centric tech innovators and gratitude enthusiasts and Six Sigma lean masters and people from every walk of life that have discovered their reason for being on this planet. And that's why I love Stephen Ferrugia. He's all those things, and he's the founder and CEO and chair of ShareTree, a registered secular charity and social purpose network that cultivates character, culture, and community to empower people to improve well-being, purpose, resilience, and performance. Hey, Stephen, welcome to the Something Significant Show.
Thank you, Matt. Amazing to be here. And that's probably the best summed up intro I've ever had for what I do. So thanks for being diligent and taking the time to get that exactly right.
It's my pleasure. And, there's more and more guests are saying that. So maybe I've found a niche finally, something I can bring to the world. So tell us, what are you doing these days to leave your mark of significance on the world?
I try and leave a mark of significance every day on every person that I interact with. And the way that I like to do that is really to help them see a piece of them that is brilliant, a piece of their character that shines with strength, that creates and ignites others. And often, we don't look at ourselves at our own strengths. So when we have mirrors of gratitude that come in front of us where people express what they're grateful for in us, it helps us all shine. And I love reciprocity because the mirror neurons will kick in and it flows onto the world and then eventually it comes back to you.
That's fantastic. So take us back in time. You had a long 16 career in a very, very different space as an engineer for Robert Bosch. So I'd like to know, what are the biggest changes in you and your outlook on life from those days more than 10 years ago to today?
Yeah, good question, Matt. So at the core, I think we are always the same. I am always the same at the core. From the get-go, from when I was born, I had a sense of wanting to do something for the community. And over time, our mind, which is not really the center of our being, our heart is the center of our being, but our mind likes to navigate and explore the world and learn new things and how to navigate in that world. And before I went to Bosch, I was actually studying spirituality a lot. And I moved from spirituality into Bosch and studied engineering, which is a very left brain, as you would call it, function, executive function. So it moved me away from some of my intuitive spiritual ability, but it really refined my ability to understand system, processes, people. So in Bosch, I started as an apprentice, worked with my hands. I'm a mild visual dyslexic, so I left school early because I didn't really fit that system. So really great at maths, but almost failing English constantly. So I didn't fit the system, but visually I can see a system and a pattern quite quickly and optimize it. So Bosch picked up on that talent and they helped me refine that talent. And they sent me all around the world to learn best practice continuous improvement. So it was a very powerful learning, and I have amazing mentors and friends and connections from that space. And it was that space that actually encouraged me to move on and do bigger things in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing how your life pieces together this really unique path that without your spirituality work and without Bosch, you could have never come up with what you're doing today.
Totally. I mean, sometimes we're in that space, Matt, and we can't quite understand why the things that are going on are going on.
Yeah.
But as we get wiser and older, we realize that actually every single piece along the way has a part to play in the holistic contribution we have for life.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, take us forward another 10 years or so, and how will you be impacting the world in 2030 and beyond?
So by 2030 and beyond, we will be seeding ShareTree across a global platform. So what we built in our charity was a technology platform that allows people to express the gratitude to others every day based on the character strengths they see in them. And this really is helping awaken individuals, but also the cultures of teams, because the collective character of a group of people is what creates the culture of a team. And anyone that knows business and that's been in business knows that businesses live and die by culture. And if you're not awake to that yet, it's probably a great place for someone to go and explore how to supercharge their business.
I like it. Can you think of one big advancement that you can imagine or hope for in your personal lifelong ambition to bring meaningful change to humanity? So over these next 10 years, one big advancement in your work.
That's a very simple and clear one for me. So we are living a big game of Monopoly right now. And there's only ever one outcome in a game of Monopoly, that all of the wealth and income ends up in one person's hands. But that's not how we are designed as a species. We are a tribal species. We are designed to collaborate and work in unison for collective good. And what I hope to see and change in the world, and I'm desperately passionate at doing it, and that's why we built the foundation of ShareTree, is to create harmonious balance. It's not about all being equal, but it's about equity. And if you don't know the difference between those two words, worth looking up as well. Equity is about being fair, a sense of enough, so that we can all live to our greatest strength.
Beautiful. All right, Stephen, I define significance as doing things you love, in places you love, with people you love, and creating something of value to others. It's doing and it's giving, but you can't give from an empty cup. So what are your personal practices, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? What things do you do to increase your capacity so you can take good care of yourself and your beautiful family and still have plenty left over to give to others?
Great question, Matt. You are really a master of questions. I'm showing you the symbol of a triangle. So that's my basic life principle that I use for myself, my family, and those that I coach and support. And the triangle represents three of the core major aspects of life. The foundation, which is our self-discipline. So if you want to learn more about that, go to the Dunedin Project. They did a longitude study understanding what is the core character trait of humanity that ensures we get life outcomes. And it's self-discipline. Self-regulation, self-discipline, all of the aspects about building the foundation of life. And it makes a lot of sense, because if the foundation of our life is broad, deep, and strong, we can build a big platform upon it. Now, the peak of the triangle is our purpose. It's what gives meaning and rise to our life. It draws up our life and it fulfills our being. Now, the center of the triangle is gratitude, because all of that creation that you make, the space that you make in the world, unless it is filled with gratitude and joy, it has less meaning. You create space that is meaningless, it becomes a void. If you create space that is filled with meaning, you create an impact. And they are the three key elements in living life. Now, there's a few in between that, but they are the core essentials.
It's amazing, you've been developing over there in Australia, and I've been developing here in America, and I have a pyramid too, and mine is capacity at the bottom, purpose in the middle, and significance on top. I bet there's not very much difference if we really dug down into them, how we go about living our lives. So that's
what makes sense though, right, Matt? Because we're living all out of one truth. So when we actually see through the veil of illusion, we will see the same things. And we're discovering it from just different perspectives. Yeah,
and if I can get a little more shaggy here, and we even look a little bit similar, so it's interesting. Two different guys and two different sides of the world. So, Stephen, let's take a commercial break, because I want to tell everyone about three things I'm really excited about. A brand new online course called The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life, how it helps people discover their purpose and design the life they were meant to live, and how every enrollment using promo code WYTV7 will save them $100 and support a big donation to our wonderful host, WYTV7. Happy Living here. I love good things made for good people. That's why I love Happy Living's online e-course. It's an 8-week-long deep dive into you and the inspired life you want to live. The life you were put here on this earth to live. The one that you and only you can live. 8 weeks of lectures and ideas and topics and supporting materials and powerful self-improvement tools. All designed for you. All designed to help you create the tools and the power and the confidence you need to discover your purpose and to discover the life you were meant to live and to feel incredibly inspired and motivated to decide you will live your life to its fullest. It's all designed to help you create the unique and distinct philosophy of you and your inspired life. Go to happyliving.com, select our e-course, and save $100 with promo code WYTV7. And for every enrollment, I'll donate another $100 to WYTV7. For $300 and about 30 hours, I promise you'll never, ever be the same again. And we're back. And this is the Something Significant Show. And I'm Matt Gersper. Hey, friends, to be happy, really, truly, deeply happy, you got to find a way to find your purpose. You got to find a way to live the life you were put on this planet to live. So join me on a journey of discovery and exploration with our e-course, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life. We're ready to begin 8 weeks of working on you and the life you were meant to live. And I'm ready to get back to my purpose-driven guest, Stephen Ferrugia. He believes in empowering people to live purposeful and meaningful lives. And you know I love that. And his company, ShareTree, helps business leaders, influencers, and high-wealth individuals to connect with their purpose and create transformation within themselves and within their sphere of influence to contribute to humanity and make the world a better, happier place. And Stephen, as you know, my second book is all about transformation. Turning Inspiration into Action explores the idea that big transformations and discovery of purpose often come from devastation, addictions, disease, death, disaster. Some big crisis shakes your life. But I've used a happier way and discovered my path to purpose with inspiration. Was there a specific moment or situation when either devastation or inspiration revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
Absolutely. And I've worked with many people to understand that that is really the backstory of any great achievement in life. Because when we touch the walls of life, it helps us understand the maximum capacity we have to give to life. So when we come back to the center, we come back with greater strength and greater wisdom. So in my personal life, I had an experience in early childhood that left me to believe that I was dying. And at age 9, to think that your time in the world is going to be short reframes the world in such a way that purpose becomes king. And it's a tremendous gift. Any trauma that anyone experiences at the time, it's not so fun, right? It's like a hike. When you're in it, it's not really great when you're grinding up the hills. But when you stop and you take in the scenery and you understand what you're actually getting out of the experience itself, the emotions of the trauma get left behind. And what you bring forward is the character strengths of that experience. So what doesn't kill you makes you strong is truly the truth. So for me, that reframing, living in a perspective of thinking I was going to die at that young age, put purpose in a significant way into my life that I see unlike most other people. And it's really fueled my life to help me fuel others.
Was it an accident or a medical situation? What was the...
Yeah, it was a situation where there was actually abuse, and it left me in a state where I thought I had a disease that I might not be able to live through. But it wasn't the reality.
How long were you in that state of believing that?
About 1 year. And what I discovered in that state, I was raised as a Christian, so I would pray every night for my life to be, spared, so that I could live a full life. But in that prayer moments, at the end of prayer, what I discovered was meditation. So I would sit there and it's like, oh, what is these visions I'm seeing? What is these feelings I have? And bit by bit, I would explore that world. And I've just continued that practice my whole life.
So you were so young. Most of the folks I'm talking about, they have this kind of moment later in life. What was for you? What was the big difference of little 8-year-old, 9-year-old Stephen going into this and 9 or 10-year-old Stephen coming out? What was the biggest difference after you discovered the meaning of purpose and how you lived your life, or how you saw your life?
At that age, Matt, it's not so obvious. So for me, the benefits come gradually over time. So the impact happened at once, the benefit came at once, but the realization of the benefit was unwrapped bit by bit by bit over time. And I'm still learning till today some of the treasures I gained from that trauma back then.
That's awesome. And so you're still going back to the trajectory as you're learning, you're living your life is still going back to those lessons that you learned as a 9-year-old that you didn't really understand as you were learning them.
Absolutely. Like one of the other lessons I learned just recently, because it was an abuse situation. So there was the healing process for abuse is sadness, anger, resentment, acceptance, and then happiness. So in that process of learning to let go of a hatred for someone that's abused you, over time, you learn the power of forgiveness. And once you learn that in such an extreme way, well, it's very easy to apply when someone says something to you that just pisses you off. So it's about really taking all of the lessons out of an experience and helping it form your life in a better way. And I think we pick them. I think we actually pick them is what I truly believe before we come here. And the braver our soul, the greater the trauma we pick to expand ourselves to the maximum.
Well, that may be true, but what I love and I'm listening to is you were designed through your life to become Stephen Ferrugia and to do exactly this, the trauma matching up with the engineering, matching up with the spirituality, and here you are bringing it all together. And that's, to me, that's the most exciting thing for our listeners to take away, is it's not just the good things that happen in your life that can propel you. It's all of it. It's the good and the bad and the ugly. And look, what you did, or what you're expressing to me, is you were searching for reasons that this bad stuff happened, and not saying, woe is me, bad stuff happened to me, and shriveling up. You used it to fuel yourself.
Yeah, I think what creates the fear is the fear of the emotion that you experience at the time. But the truth is the emotion is only tied to the event. It's only whether we want to pick up the DVD and keep playing that same movie over and over. But it's in our choice. If we choose to put it down, the only thing that comes forward is the character gifts from the event itself.
Good stuff. So we've talked about capacity and then purpose. When you combine those two, I say the sky's the limit. And I like to put together capacity plus purpose equals happy. But the real magic of life comes from adding the fourth element of success, of significance rather, doing work that creates value for others. And that completes my happy formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really, truly, deeply happy. So Stephen, it's not just giving that's magical, but it's giving from living in your purpose. That's where the magic is. So tell us, how does it make you feel when a client says your app not only helped her personal growth, but also helped in bringing unity and harmony throughout her whole organization and to her community too, by appreciating each other's inherent character? And another says, it's simply the best and most meaningful app I've ever used. So how does it make you feel when you're living in your purpose and you're giving from your purpose and you're getting that kind of response?
It makes it clear early on it would make significance, yeah, but that really comes from a need to fill yourself again. But when you're in a position of being full, it makes it clear why it's all meant to be, what role each of us has to play. And it's very awe-inspiring to see that what was perceived many years in the past come to fruition in the current moment, and then see it igniting others at the same time. It's very awe-inspiring is probably the best word to describe it.
Give me goosebumps. And I want you to go a little deeper on that. So let's go back to your Bosch days. I think my estimation in the few times I've talked to you is that wasn't your purpose. Bosch was a part of your path to get into your purpose. And so you did things when you were at Bosch that were good, that helped others, that made advance the organization. But it's different because it wasn't like the authentic you that you were giving. You was part of you. Now it's all of you that's giving it. And if somebody recognizes it, it's like, holy smokes. I just gave you a little piece of myself and you validated it and said it helped to improve your life. It's just a different thing, isn't it? Because you're all in.
Yeah, I think it builds. Like I had more clarity of purpose. I have more clarity of purpose now, but purpose was always there from that point in time. So when I was seeding little pieces of purpose, it's like a smoke screen. And the more you walk into the smoke towards purpose, towards that feeling that you know is what your life's meant to be, the more the smoke clears. And it's in every interaction. The people I work with at Bosch, I was already seeding that purpose and igniting and supporting people, and they're doing the same to me. So there's a great saying that your life's mission is to discover your gifts, but your life's purpose is to give them away. And I think we can do that at every step of the way. Though every time we step towards it, it becomes clearer and stronger and more inspiring and attracts more people and has greater impact. And you see, as you get more and more aligned to purpose, that all of our purpose are so beautifully entwined with each other. There's no area of competition in the space of purpose. It's all collaborative.
Right. Ah, beautiful. Very good. Great stuff. Okay, let's wrap things up with the lightning round. I'll read one of my favorite quotes and then you respond telling us what it means to you. First thing that comes to your mind. From Andrew Carnegie. Teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, the ability to direct individual accomplishments toward organizational objectives. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results.
I'd say absolutely, and it's supercharged when there's unison in purpose.
Awesome. From Lao Tzu, to the giver comes the fullness of life. To the taker, just an empty hand.
My response is balance, because life is important to take and celebrate at times, but not taking in a way that withdraws from others. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to receive because it gives to the giver, but it's about balance.
Very good. From Dr. Wayne Dyer, even if nobody sees or acknowledges it, a silent blessing or a thought of love towards others contains a vibration that can be felt throughout the cosmos.
Absolutely. The secret ingredient to life. Your thoughts create the vibrations in your world, which lead to your actions, which lead to your reality.
I suspected you might like that one. Okay, this is one of your own. You can measure your profits and your losses, but without measuring your organization's, spelled funny, without measuring your organization's culture, you really don't have a clear picture of your success.
Absolutely. Culture is the key ingredient for organizational success. And if you take the two cogs of any board of directors' KPIs, generating revenue, converting it to profit or meaningful impact as a charity organization, the main cog that drives both of those cogs that I talk to every director about is people and culture. And very few organizations can measure it. And it's not for a bad reason. It's because it's hard to measure unless you have sophisticated technology and a know-how about what makes up culture.
You know, you read or you listened to my book, since you don't like to read, and you may remember I kind of blew up my company because I was so focused on profits and results, and I wasn't paying attention to the human relationship aspect of what I was doing. So I probably needed your quote, about 7 years ago.
I loved your book. There were so many life lessons in there that I was synchronous to my own life lessons. So I can see why we have such a well-founded, aligned perspective on life. It's an amazing book.
Thank you very much. Okay, this one's from Goff. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
So the richest place on the planet, they say, is the graveyard. That's what comes to my mind with that quote. And it's because not that people go to the gravesite with their money in their pockets, but often they leave their purpose in their heart. And it's because of the fear of loss that prevents them from actually really living. So yeah, love that quote. Take a gamble. My father inspired me when I was going to leave Bosch to start my entrepreneurial life. My mother was concerned about giving up a well-paying job. But my father said, you know what? You will always have an opportunity for a job. In fact, you are more employable once you've been out in the world consulting. So let that be a backdrop that you can always come back to.
Yeah, that's good for your dad. And that's a big challenge that so many people face, is leaving what is acceptable and pursuing what they love. And you just got to take, if you can't do it all at once, do it in pieces and build in time, because it takes time anyways.
It does take time.
You also made me think about, with the graveyard, Dr. Wayne Dyer had I wrote a blog post about him, but the title or somebody wrote about him, he didn't die with the music still in him. He got it all out. And that's what we want to do, is live all out and just keep loving and giving and finding our purpose, so that when we don't leave all that stuff in the graveyard. Stephen, great interview. Thank you so much. Now our time's nearing the end. So would you just take a few minutes and share any parting remarks or comments you'd like to leave with our audience?
I would encourage people to have the bravery to step towards what they know is within them, and to have the faith that the universe will deliver you challenges and rewards along the way to help you on that journey. And if it's not going the way that you expect it to be, it just means you need to take more steps forward so that you can look back upon why that challenge was there to help your growth. And enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. It is a beautiful planet to be on. There is light and dark all over the place, and it's all about what you want to be looking at.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Matt. Your diligence, your thoroughness in preparing for our conversation, and just what you give to people in life, for people to get to the place that they are in life as you have, and then stop, turn around and give back to the community that built you up. It's a really unique set of character traits, and I'm grateful to find people like you in the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, folks, will you show me some love, and some love to our broadcast host too? If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Stephen Ferrugia, please donate what you can to WYTV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Stephen, I love that you saw your mild visual dyslexia not as a disability, but as a superpower that allowed you to see a world of patterns unlike others, and that you're using that superpower to create new businesses and applications and relationships, and to shine your light brightly, and to help others shine their lights brighter too, all of it focused on elevating the consciousness of humanity through purpose and unity and gratitude and innovation. So very cool. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you sharing your hopeful and inspiring voice with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be part of your process.
And thank you, WYTV7, for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guests like Stephen and keep reaching folks out there ready to create their own extraordinary lives. A special thank you to our sponsors for the month of April, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate $100 for each and every enrollment for the entire month to WYTV7. So tell all your friends too. Go to happyliving.com, select our e-course, and enroll today like your absolute life, best life depends on it. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Stephen Ferrugia. Find him, friend him, download his awesome ShareTree app. It's free. Or grab a cup of digital coffee with him through his website, sharetree.org. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be happy. We do what we do on the Something Significant show to inspire you to live life to its fullest, to believe as I do, a better self is always possible today and every day for the rest of our lives. That inspired life you've been dreaming about, it's yours to take, but it takes bold action. You got to get on with it and start moving along your path, the special one to your dream, your unique and distinctive journey, because that's where you're going to make your mark of significance on the world. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant show. And we're out from Australia and Charlotte.